Welcome to another episode of Kookievision. In this video, I'm going to be making some thank you plaques. So I've got a plaque shape here, and I'm outlining the outside with this lavender color. And this is actually purple with a little bit of brown to kind of tone it down a little bit. So it's actually quite close to like a mauve color. So I'm outlining the outside, and I've got a piping consistency here with a number 2 tip. And I'm going around the outside and I'm going to fill in the space that I just piped with a flooding consistency of the same color in a squeeze bottle. And I'll just use my scribe tool to even everything out and get rid of any air bubbles. Now I'm going to let this dry overnight. You only need to let it sit for about 6 to 8 hours to dry, but I like to do my flooding one day and then my details the next. So I've got a chocolate brown dye that I've mixed with a touch of vodka, and I've got it on a brush and I'm just flicking it at the cookies. Now, this part is totally optional, but I like to add it just to give it a bit of a vintage look. And I want this splatter to dry for at least 5 minutes or so until it's completely dried. And next I've got an image projected onto my cookie. I don't have a copy cake or anything like that. I do just have a cheapy projector. We'll have to do a video on that at some point. It's a small project for under $100, so that's always good if you're on a budget, because I know that the copy cakes are kind of unattainable if you're on a budget. So I've got a piping consistency gold color here, and this is a number 1 tip. And I'm just following the lines, and I'm using more pressure and moving a bit more slower for the thicker parts of the lettering, and then using less pressure and moving more fast for the thinner parts. And there's definitely a lot of ways you could do this. You could use a stencil, or you could even do it freehand. You could also use your scribe tool to kind of scratch into the cookie beforehand and kind of give you a guide. And yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it, and I just wanted to do it with my projector since I do have one. Just wanted to make some use out of it. And obviously you could use any font that you want. I kind of used a combination of cursive with capital letters. And you'll want to let this dry for at least an hour before you paint over it. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a little bit of a fern leaf. I'm just giving myself a quick guide here, just kind of scraped it along the cookie just to give myself a guide, a nice curved line. And I'm using a piping consistency green here with a number 2 tip, and I'm basically piping little teardrops along this curved line and pulling inwards and creating this fern leaf shape. Next, I've got some stiff consistency light pink royal icing here. This is fitted with a star tip, and I want to make sure it's nice and stiff so that it holds that nice shape and that texture. And I've also got a sugar pearl to finish it off. And I've also got something interesting here. This is called a dust pump, and you basically put some luster dust or anything like that in there. I actually used a sparkle dust by Roxy and Rich, which is a Canadian brand, and I've got some stiff consistency white royal icing there as well, and just kind of finished it off with a few tiny little white flowers, and that was a star tip as well. Next, I've got some gold luster dust that I've mixed with a touch of vodka, and I've got a liner brush here, and I'm just going over top of these letters. I don't have a preference actually in gold luster dust. I've used quite a few, and I like them all. I think I did use a combination of a darker gold by Rainbow Dust, and this was a liquid form of metallic paint, or metallic food paint, and I mixed it with a bit of super gold roll chem powder, and I think that one is actually made in Africa. And I don't know if it's regulated by the FDA, but it is accepted for use in obviously in Africa and the UK, Canada, and since I'm from Canada, I can use it here. But yeah, definitely make sure you look on your labels when it comes to luster dust and see what's regulated in your country, because there are different regulations when it comes to gold luster dusts and luster dusts in general. A lot of them aren't edible, but I always make sure that my edible or my luster dusts on my cookies are always 100% edible, because these cookies are made for eating. And I definitely don't want to put something on a cookie that somebody can't eat. So that's really important to me. And this step does take quite a bit of time. You could always just leave it the gold color that it is. But I really do like this added extra sparkle. And I also got a piping consistency white royal icing here, fitted with a number 1 tip. And I'm just basically, to tie it all together, I'm just going around the edge border and creating a border just to kind of pull it all together and make it look as nice as possible. So these are the finished thank you plaques. Obviously you can make them say whatever you like and make them in any color that you like. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like me on Facebook and on Instagram. Bye!